Hey everybody, I'm back. Sorry about the delay. I went to McDonald's to check something and to take care of something, and then I went from there to Walmart. Still. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying, if I can remember. Oh yeah, basically, if they would have... Hold on for a second. But basically what I'm saying is that they would have done what I said, do the brands and all that, whether you get WCW, SmackDown, Velocity, or Heat, doesn't matter. You slowly did the build-up, and then, storyline-wise, made it more personal by having, as I said, the superstars and divas that felt that they weren't getting opportunities in WWF, have them secretly negotiate behind the scenes with Shane and debut in WCW, with the WCW brand. That would have made everything a lot more interesting and better. And then, like I say, slowly build it up, take your time until, you're able to find out the status of a Flair and a Hogan and a Nash and a Hall and a Goldberg and a Steiner, and, and sign them. Sign them to contracts and see what happens. I had to cross there. Sorry about that, folks. Hold on. All right, like I was saying, it's just, to me, if to me that it would have worked out better. Like I said, take your time, and as time goes on later, find out exactly the status and see if you can sign, like I said, the Flairs or the Hogans and Halls and Nashes and Steiners and Goldbergs. And then kind of slowly start. Even while we're waiting for that, slowly start to tease and give hints of a conflict, of an invasion taking place. And like I said, and like I said before, like I said in the first video, this would give the fans a reason to want to get behind WCW. This would help the WWF fan base and crowd. It would have helped them get behind WCW, even though they only knew who they were by name and by the fact that they were another wrestling company. It would allow them to get behind the WCW stars and allow them to, it would allow them to get to know the WCW stars and allow them to get behind them, so that when the invasion, the interpromotional started happening, that would help and allow WCW to be what they originally planned them to be in the first place, and that's the baby faces. Originally, make them what they planned for them to be, and that's the baby faces, the good guys, the underdogs. Like I said, kind of have the fans be like, what, WWF looks down on these guys. They don't think they have talents. They don't think they're on the level. You know what? I'm going to cheer for these guys. I'm going to get behind them. It would have really helped out. And then as far as ECW goes, instead of having them associate, like I said at the end of part 1, instead of having them associate with WCW and form an alliance, have them attack both organizations and make it a three-way war. A three-way invasion interpromotional war. Have someone like RVD, Rob Van Dam, show up on Raw and cause some chaos, if you will, and attack certain superstars, maybe big name stars like Austin or Rock, out of the blue, and everything, and while he's like say wearing the ECW logo. Have Dreamer do the same thing in WCW. Have him invade those shows. Cause some heck and all that. Have him attack random people, the top guys like a Booker or a DDP. And if you want to, you could have, just if you wanted, and if they wanted to, they could have, just for this situation, they could have signed Sandman and Sabu, have them do the exact same thing. Have Sabu show up with RVD and WWF, have them attack, have them help attack more often, have Sandman show up with Tommy Dreamer, and then later on, probably, like again, just like with Sandman and Sabu, sign these guys just for this situation, bring in Mahoney, Rotten, maybe even New Jack, Mustafa if you will, and have them help attack in certain areas, like have New Jack go with RVD and Sabu to do the WWE thing, attack the WWF guys, and so on and so forth. And then slowly have some of the ECW alumni, like they did that one night, help out in the attacks, help out in the attacks on the different programs. Have the Dudleys and Taz and Raven slowly but surely align themselves with RVD and Sabu and New Jack. Have that happen. Have Lance Storm and Mike Awesome and whoever else they had in WCW that was an ECW guy. Have them slowly align with the likes of Dreamer and with the likes of Dreamer and Sandman and maybe Mahoney and Rotten and stuff. Have them align, or have Mahoney helping with the WWF part, Rotten with the WCW. You kind of get what I'm saying. Just help them out, slowly have them turn and help them out, and then have Paul Heyman show, do what he did, but on Raw. And then explain right on Raw with the WWE or WWF invader, with the ECW invaders, led by RVD that's been invading the WWE programming. Have him explain that both invasions on both WWF shows and the WCW on Raw, on the WWF show, which would be Raw, maybe SmackDown, maybe both. And the acts and everything on the WCW shows, whether it's Velocity, Heat, or even SmackDown, are all part of the fact, are basically, the fact that ECW is here to let, WCW and WWF know that you guys don't have each other to deal with now. You've got us to deal with, and this is now a three-way war. And instead of, like I said, having him do the alliance deal, just have it be a three-way war. Allow ECW to have championships in their stable, like WCW did. Allow them to have, those championships. Hold on for a second. Have Paul Heyman come out on Raw, if WCW has SmackDown or whatever, and say that the reason for the attacks, like I said, is because now, WCW and WWF don't just have each other to worry about, but then they have ECW to worry about. And instead of having ECW align with either one of them, just have ECW be that third part, that wild card, and allow them to have their championships. And then, if you want to have the Invasion pay-per-view, fine. But don't highlight it with the inaugural brawl if you want. Oh, well, yeah, do the inaugural brawl, but make it a 3-team deal. Or if you want to, for the inaugural brawl, have the 3 champions of all 3 organizations face off with each other. And whoever wins, their organization will be proven to be the dominant one. And the other organizations have to cease to exist. And think about the possibilities you could have had there. You could have had Austin, WWF champion, Booker T, or maybe Hogan, WCW champion, and heck, Sandman or Dreamer or RVD or Sabu, ECW champion, or even Terry Funk if they wanted to bring him in. Again, the point is, I get what Spinnernet 1 and everybody else has been talking about when it comes to the invasion and how it could have really been worked out and done. I mean, heck, you could have even brought Shane Douglas in for the ECW part, made him champion and put him in there. You get what I'm saying, right? It would have really worked out better and helped out in the long run. It would have allowed all three organizations, especially the two that just became, especially WCW and ECW, to really have one last hurrah. And allow the fans, like I said, to get behind the likes of WCW because, like I said, even though they knew about them just by name and the fact that they were another wrestling company, you have basically given the fans time to get to know who the wrestlers and ladies were, the men and women were of WCW, and basically, feel for them, have some feeling for them, and say, you know what, I'm going to get behind them because WWF looks at them like they're nothing. So in the end, it really would have worked out, and yeah, you could have built to a lot of big-time promotional matches, 3 ways. But again, it all would have depended on what WWF really wanted to do. And obviously, they didn't want to do it in what would have been the more correct, more logical, sensible way. And the reason for that being is the fact that Vince McMahon pretty much wanted to say, hey, look, it's not about WCW. This is what I think about them. And that's why he chose the lesser of the known. The lesser of the known. He basically chose the unknown with a few exceptions. And that's why WCW, ECW got basically humiliated, basically got ruined. And by having people like Austin and Christian and Test, align themselves, and Ivory align themselves with WCW and have his kids be the ones that own both WCW and ECW, again, it's just basically him saying, hey, it's basically the McMahons and mostly Vince saying, hey, I'm the king of wrestling, I'm the king of sports entertainment, and basically what I'm doing is sending a message to any future competitors that, hey, you want to compete against me? This is what's going to happen. So, overall, those are just my thoughts on the invasions, my revised thoughts, after hearing what Spinnernet 1 and many others had to say. And that's all I'm going to say about it right now. I'll talk to you all later. I am home. I'm going to get the mail right now, but I will talk to you all later. And you guys let me know what you think. Do you agree with what I have to say in these 2 videos? And again, I'm sorry it was in 2, but hey, at least it's a lot longer than 15 minutes each. You know what I'm saying? But again, let me know what you guys think down below. Do you agree with what I had to say in both videos? Because honestly, I think it would have helped out better, in a much better way. But let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. I'll talk to you all.